the Shiny Badge Challenge. There's a lot of these videos on YouTube, and I really like them. But I also consider myself a Nuzlocker. I forget that there's like other ways to play the game. So I'm watching their videos, and they let Pokemon faint, and they overlevel? I have to do a double take.
Yo, you live like this?
And then I kind of realized that the only way that I'm going to see a Shiny Badge Challenge with a lock variant is if I do it myself. I found this at a park in Utah. That's significantly cheaper than buying an actual Thanos one.
My rules are going to focus a lot more on the mortality side of a Nuzlocke, rather than the ability to actually lose. Even if I do white out, I'll be able to add Pokemon to my team. However, I think it's a lot more devastating to lose a guy that you spent 5 hours looking for, rather than the first dude you met on East Providence Route 3, you know? If a Pokemon's HP hits 0, you throw him in the crypt. Don't overlevel, and you gotta add a brand new shiny before each badge challenge. I was gonna say gym, it's not. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, I got 2 teams. The shinies that I use for the badges that live by the Nuzlocke rules, and I also use different Pokemons to catch the shinies. This is a big reason that people are ridiculously overleveled in their videos. Taking down 60 Pokemon, even with the Let's Go feature, can really add up quickly. Now, this video is going to be very different than the other ones. You see, I started working on this video when I was editing the Eevee-Log video. So I was hatching eggs, you know, I was mostly taking advantage of, you know, any outbreaks for Pokemon that I wanted. And I had a friend helping me with a couple of the hunts. I actually kind of became addicted to having Megan help me. You see, there's this little exploit in the game where if you use the Union Circle and you go to their world and they use Herba Mystica to make a sandwich and then they quit without saving, they get to keep that Herba Mystica, but you get half an hour of increased odds.
Now, is this cheating? Yeah.
What ended up happening is I got all 18 shinies before starting it. It took 190 hours before I even considered challenging Katie. I went everywhere in this game. This game does not want you going to Alpharenda without a high jump Koraidon. But I don't really care what this game wants. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna tell you about every badge fight, but beforehand, I'm going to add a Pokemon to my team from the Shiny Reserves. And when I do this, I'm going to tell the story behind acquiring each one, maybe even the nickname. I might save the nicknames for the supercut because I find my nicknames interesting, but this series is already going to be bloated. So first is my starter. Well, I mean, the real starter is shiny locked, so I went ahead and took the Croc. You gotta fight the other ones later, and I want nothing to do with an enemy Crocodile. Oh, hey, a girl? That's almost as rare as a shiny starter, right? Okay, so I decided to get my starter through the Matsuda method, and I chose Gibble. On the one hand, Garchomp's shiny is really, really bad. But on the other hand, he is super strong. But on the other hand, his shiny is really, really bad. But on the other hand, no matter how bad things get, I can still always lean on him. But on the other hand, his shiny is really, really bad. This hunt took nearly 2 weeks. I had to hatch nearly 1,400 eggs before it reared its ugly head, and boy was it glorious. I don't know how long it took, but my lowest guesstimation was 40 hours. So, to circle back to my question of, was using Megan's Herba Mystica cheating? My answer is, I spent over 40 hours getting this guy, so I don't rightly care. So I actually nicknamed all of the Gibble. I knew I would wonder trade them all, so I actually named them Studio. You know, Studio Gibble.
It's okay. You don't have to laugh. It is not funny.
But when I finally got my own shiny boy, I named it Rhodes. If it were a girl, it would have been named Rose, because Garchomp is based off of a shark. And what's the one thing that sharks are well known for? They got teeth. Rows of them. So I started my journey in Megazoa with a shiny Gibble at my side, and thanks to Megan, I immediately packed it full of the finest items. TMs. Really, I just needed Fire Fang for the first few gyms. I also decided that I needed more than one level. But this was one of the biggest problems, honestly. I probably spent over 15 minutes trapped in the prison that was level 1. Because of Nuzlocke rules, I can only do like a quarter of Hoppip's HP, and I can do a third of mine. I had to use Pokédolls to get away from level 3 Lechonks. It was brutal. Finally, I decided to head over to the Whoopers because my ground type could do ×4 damage to it, hopefully taking it down before it murdered me. But after that first level game, we were off to the races. After getting stronger and stronger, eventually one-shotting all of the Pokemon on Poco Path, I decided to move on to the South Providence. And this is where I really jump-started my training. Be able to take down most of the Pokemon here, too, like Diglett and most prevalent of them all, Mareep. I was sitting pretty. I checked Katie's level and decided, after taking down the olive roll, to roll up to the gym at level 15. Now, I am playing this fight safe. I have Higher Fang, but I don't know if it'll one-shot this guy. I only have 1 level on the Nimble. And I know that he has Struggle Bug. I cannot risk leaving him with only a couple of HP. So I hit him with a little tap, and then I let the Fire Fang fly, resulting in a kill. And then Taratula shows that Fire Fang probably wouldn't have killed. But hey, Bug Bite is gonna do the same amount of damage if I leave him on Death's Door, if he's, big and strong. So I am more than okay leaving him burnt on Death's Door. And then comes out the Teddy Ursa. Alright, I hit it good, and Fury Cutter. No big deal. That should do. Okay, it does big damage. I do not know if Fire Fang has the range to take him down. But fortunately, I have a Dragon Terra typing and Dragon Claw. So, if my calculations are right, and judging by my grades in high school, they are not, Fire Fang has a power of 130. But Dragon Claw has a power of 160, which should just barely beat out the rest of Teddy Ursa's HP. Now off to the first Titan battle, and trust me, after 190 hours, I am so stoked to get Koraidon even the smallest bit of utility. Now, looking at my supply of Pokemon, I decided my best choice is Wooper. I think that I'll have Gible do most of the work here, but having a second ground type is a nice backup. Not to mention the Poison will be great for Brassius, especially since Wooper got them toxic spikes. I was thinking all about the thumbnail with this Pokemon. I wanted like a sexy Pokemon on one side of me, a mascot on the other, and then I'd like a little guy up front. And I love Paldean Wooper's shiny. It's the same color as the Johto Wooper. And since I played the original Johto games, it just warms my lower back pain. The hunt was amazing too. I saw that Wooper popped up as an outbreak, so I decided that I'd take 60 of them out before I went to bed, and then finish the hunt off in the morning. But at number 40, is that blue? Well, there goes my plans for tomorrow. Let's go, little guy. If you saw my Wonderlock, you'll know that I accidentally traded away Megan's level 100 Clodsire named Poi-Poi. I wanted to honor that Pokemon, and since Paldean Wooper is Poison type, I decided to finish off the Poi-Poi with Zin. Now, Cloth was rough. He could have ended the run right here. He has this terrible double-edged sword. Block and Vice Grip. Block, so I could not retreat when I needed to, and because Vice Grip did over half of my HP the first time he did it. I just barely got lucky the second time. I was actually happy to have Arven acting as my meat shield to actually take the move that left me in the agony. Whoa! Super speed! Alright, on to Brassius. And for this gym, we're going to introduce a very special señorita. Alright, so one of the best shinies in all Pokemon is Charizard. But after the Gible incident, I am not ready to wander around the soccer field for another couple screenings of the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. But Black and Red is sick! And it turns out that Orichalcos has the same color scheme. So I called Megan, asked for her to make some fire sandwiches, and I patrolled outside Arizona. And it was odd. In the first hour, I actually found a Growlithe, but I was married to the idea of the bird. I mean, it is so cool. In other games, it's based off, like, dancing, so you had a hula dancer and a Lola. Paldea is based off Spain, and so she's got this absolutely fantastic flamenco dancer aesthetic. She's even standing with that classic castanet pose. It is great! And after 2 hours, I found one. It was male. I won the lottery and got the 1 in 4 male. And the thing is, I wasn't happy. I had the perfect name for this bird. I was so attached to the name. I had Megan help me for another 2 hours just so I can find one and name her Carmen. Of course, a side note, literally 90 seconds after catching Dawn over there, I ran into another shiny Growlithe. So, first I had to train up Orichalcos, up to level 17 for Brassius. But while I was training, hold up. That a Rookidee? That a full odds rookie. Hey, buddy, come on. You're coming with me. We're gonna go defeat evil. It's gonna be awesome. We finished my training and started the fight by poisoning the ground. But just one hit left Zin so low, I had to switch to Carmen. That's done. Done? What are you doing here? This is supposed to be... Whatever, I'll switch it out after the battle. Whatever, just kill these next two. Then I had the brilliant idea to switch from ×4 damage to not very effective. Then I shed my pesky ground typing and attacked. And while Rock Throw does very little, Trailblaze left me near death. So if he hits me with Trailblaze, I'll die. But Rock Throw should be fine. If it has good AI, I should be able to have Dawn take the hit. And at the worst possible time, it used Rock Throw. The Sudowoodo died in the poison, but I lost my Flamenco Dancer. But that was Dawn. I still have Carmen. Can I use Carmen? I don't know. I feel a little weird using her. Let's revisit when the level cap is around 40 so she can actually use her signature move. Next foe we have is the Open Sky Titan, and I have the perfect little shiny for it. Mareep. Oh, this one was brutal. So, I was playing at midnight, and there was a Mareep outbreak. I looked at the shiny and said, that one, absolutely that one, that is sick. So I took down 60 and proceeded to search for 3 hours. And then I went to a sandwich shop and got like an electric encounter sandwich. It didn't really make a difference. After the half hour, I decided to just turn off my Switch, save the 1,200 Pokebucks or whatever. I didn't save. This was awful. I thought maybe I'd have to re-knock out the 60 Mareeps, but that's easy enough. But to my shock and horror, I also lost my outbreaks. Yeah, I was horrified at the time, but I did learn a little technique. If you save at, I don't know, level 55, you can turn off and turn on your Switch multiple times to get different outbreaks. However, I think with 0 badges, you only have a limited number of what can actually show up. But at this point, I asked Megan for help since the game stole the legitimate means from me, and this was rough. I spent like an hour with shiny level 3 encounters and nothing. But then I discovered a technique that anyone with encounter and shiny power can use to get a Mareep fast. This spot right here can spawn between 5 and 10 Mareeps every 7 seconds. That is an average of 18,000 rolls every 10 minutes, and it just needs to land on 4,096 one time, and you've got a pink sheep. So while making me some sandwiches, Megan showed off her pink Ampharos and said it looked like Barney. And while I do agree, I don't exactly want to name it that. You see, the Mareep looked like a wad of chewed up bubblegum, so I wanted to name it Princess after Princess Bubblegum. But when the Sigil of Mars showed up, I decided that wasn't the best idea anymore. But there was that one gender swap episode, and Prince Gumball was voiced by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh my, looks like you almost scronked up my dome piece.
And Neil Patrick Harris's most famous role is on How I Met Your Mother as Barney Stinson. Fine, you win. Barney is going to be great for the Open Sky Titan. Yeah, it's got a rock move, but I'm just hoping that Flaffy can shock it first. But by the way, Shiny Flaffy is easily the weakest of the line. Oh, it just stays pink? Okay. So we start out the battle and we trade blows. It hits me with rocks. I hit it with electricity. And while I do more damage, I am in crit range, and I cannot let Flaffy die at its most unattractive shiny form. So I'll pull out Gibble and let him have a— Whoa! Screw me, okay? Sinzin saved the day. Okay, he didn't use Pluck, but he goes with that move. We're gonna have one more shiny in heaven. I got lucky with another poison, but his HP is right there. And at the end of the next turn, it's gonna die, but we're at a juncture. If it uses Pluck, a Pokemon is dying. And so I need to put the one I'm okay with dying in. I don't want any, though. I need to shepherd Gibble to his final form. I can't let Mareep die ugly, but Wooper, I'd love to see him become a Clodsire, but if anyone has to die, I'd rather have him die cute. We'll go Ultra Slice, you Zinzin! No! As expected, the poison ended the battle, but the bird decided to chow down on some weeds, and I did not know this. This Titan battle goes immediately into the second phase. I don't get to heal. I have a Gibble on death's door, and my hurt Mareep, but at least my orb got recharged. Like last time, I'm just gonna have to hope that the Titan will see Arven as a credible threat, or, you know, use non-damaging moves. That works too.
Torment.
Pluck! Ah, okay, I survived. Now, I clip its wings. Okay, so in my first playthrough, I had this continuous glitch that all of Arven's cutscenes just had a Pokeball sitting in the middle of the room. Arven took us in this time, and Barney was just sitting there in every scene. Moving on to Giacomo. I'm actually a little freaked out because I don't have a low-level bug or fighting type to add in here. But here's what I will do. The card at the end is stupid strong. So I'm going to introduce one of them Growliths I found and hit him with a Firestone so I can have something stupid strong. I'm also going to throw in that Rookity we ran into because I've actually experienced a couple more deaths than I would have liked to have at this point. The nicknames are pretty simple. The name for the bird is Maximilian because Corviknight looks like an awesome bird in shining armor, and Maximilian is a type of plate armor. And Growlithe is Old Yeller because it's a golden dog. So I level everyone up and then we fight through the laggy nightmare that is Barrage Battle. And then we challenge the boss. I start out with the dog because that poniard is steel so I can melt it away. And hopefully the dog can land a good hit or two on the car before pulling out. And it went exactly according to plan. Well, not ideal because the car's snarl lowered my special attack. But I got some good work done with terastalizing. Next we sent in Max. Oh, it looks like the car is too nervous to eat berries. That's good. I was really freaked out I was going to start doing that. I got 2 good plucks in, not huge damage, but it looks like we can get the win. Barney jumps in next, avoids the snarl, tanks a wicked torque to the face, and then finishes off the leader of Bully Squad A. Alright, now on to Lavencia, and I think we need to introduce Tamatoa's Fursona. Or Crustona, because it's crustacean. I don't know. I made it weird by using the word Fursona. Basically, I knew that naming myself Tamatoa, I'd have to get a crab Pokemon. I thought since Krabby wasn't in the game, I'd be forced to use Crab Brawler, but after thinking about it a little more, I knew the perfect Pokemon. This guy took way longer to catch than he should have. 8 of Megan's rock encounter sandwiches, over 4 hours of it. And once I finally saw it, I didn't catch it for like 10 minutes. I mean, I'm Tamatoa, right? I wanted to set this guy up as my profile picture. And taking pictures of your own Pokemon is so hard. I thought it would be easier to snap a photo of the wild crab. It wasn't really. You can't move while you're lining the photo up. Finally, I got this one that I was happy enough with. It kind of looks like he's saying, shiny! While I was catching the guy, I pulled up the song and decided to listen to it for good names. I came up with Glam, Pirate Wreck, Glitters, C'est La Vie, or Decapod. I asked Megan to choose one from the list, and she picked Decapod, and I think it suits him well. Decapod was the first Pokemon that could actually train itself. A lot of the Pokemon outside Lavencia are weak to rock-type moves. I mean, I don't have counters for the pig, and they have Bulldoze, but I just avoid them. The only time I got close to a problem was when I realized some Pokemon were becoming high-level 24s, and I still had to take on Iono's trainers. And I got roped into Nemona's battle. Fortunately, I made it through the battle pretty much unscathed, but I did need to box Maximilian and Barney. Mr. Walkabout Challenge! He is here! Oh, I thought I was being clever. Alright, gym time! Iono saw that one TikTok.
Please, I'm begging you, stop trying to be influencers. We need electricians.
And she said, why not both? So the battle starts, and Decapod really decides to show off by just missing twice in a row. I mean, naturally, his move wrecks Wattrel when it finally hits. For Belly Bolt, I sent in Barney. He couldn't get the job done, but I do have a little ace in my sleeve, because in the last battle, Rhodes evolved into Gabite. After that, we have a good old-fashioned lion versus tiger. Wait, is Arcanine even based off a tiger? I think he's a dog. Whatever, I won. Now Miss Magius, which is a monster. I sent in my Gabite, but my goodness, this guy is not good. Why is he outlawed in some Nuzlockes? I scratched and I clawed as much damage as I could from Iono, but I came to a Nuzlocker's least favorite place. Who is not moving on to the next badge? And unfortunately, it has to be Max. I actually caught a second Corvisquire, and I'm introducing a bunch of flying types to my team. I'm sorry, Max. Your service was short, but also invaluable. I'm very surprised that it actually managed to land 2 attacks on the Miss Magius, but then Arcanine came in with his signature Extreme Speed. Next up is Mela, and for her I have a very well-baked Pokemon. Fido was the first shiny that I caught. On the day I started this, I hoped there would be an outbreak that a poor level 8 Crocodile could handle. And there was one, right there on Victory Road. At this point, I didn't really know about the Let's Go feature, and I fought each one manually. And these things lick, which can and did cause a whole lot of paralysis. But after manually taking down 60 dogs, it only took 15 minutes for the brown one to appear. Sometimes I come up with pretty good nicknames. Sometimes I look at a Pokemon that usually looks like dough, but notice that this one looks like he's fully cooked and say, let's put a fork in him because he's done. Alright, so an hour of training later and the pup turned into a big dog. Not really sure how the shiny is different from the original, but the difference is he's my big buddy, and he has the ability well-baked body, immune to fire attacks. Mela is going to be a cakewalk. KO'd her Torgal, and then I am ready for the Fire Reverum. Ha! He's got 2 fire attacks and spin out. She literally can't do anything to Fido. You know what? I should probably check out what spin out actually is. 100 power steel? Okay, glad I checked. If I had sent in Fidon, he would have been Fidon. Now this battle took a while. Now, while my team is very well equipped to take down fire types, the one thing we couldn't do is take too many spin outs. I kept on using Screech, so I had to switch out the Pokemon so that they didn't take a 100 power steel move with knackered defense. But here's the thing, it kept on using Screech and its fire moves. Like, only Screech and its fire moves. I mean, I was doing a bit, taking a pot shot when I felt comfortable, and eventually I thought, I don't think this thing knows Spin Out. Yeah, look, I'm gonna send out Old Yeller because he's also immune to fire and see if it uses that spin move. Swift. Okay, that's comforting. Like, I guess Cerebi has been wrong multiple times. Like, there's this. It didn't mention that Giacomo's Reverum knew Snarl, and weirdest of all, it says that Brassius, Ino, and Kofu all give you TM20. I mean, I love you, Cerebi. You're invaluable to my Nuzlocke and the easiest online guide to use. But Kofu ain't giving me Trailblaze. He's giving me a gun. Anyway, once I realized its only non-fire move was Swift and it had destroyed its own special attack by using Overheat a couple of times, I decided to send in Fidon. Do damage? Yeah. This battle was long because neither side could really damage one another. Next up is Orthworm. Oh, that means we get to introduce the scariest member of the crew. Now, most of the Pokemon, I play them as they lie, you know, nature ability, whatever. I could change them if I really wanted to, but usually it doesn't make too much of a difference. But Shroomish is different. This one was kind of insanely hard to get. We spent 5 sandwiches outside of Larryland looking for this thing, which was a blessing in disguise because if I did find it there, it would have been too high of a level to introduce it for Orthworm. So we had to go find where the low-level Shroomish live. And Megan spent 3 sandwiches that night. And when we were going to the area the first time, that's when I found the second shiny Corviknight. And then when we called it for that day, I turned my switch off. Next day, I turned my switch on within 40 seconds of booting that sucker up. I found a gall darn green monkey. But I still really want the orange mushroom because of reasons I'll explain in just a couple of sentences. After ingesting 2 more sandwiches, we finally found the Nummel-colored mushroom. And now let me explain why I wouldn't accept any substitutes. This thing has Toxic Heal, and poisons itself with a Toxic Orb before any major battle. Then we replace the orb with leftovers, and on top of that, he can hit his foe with Leech Seed. This guy gets 3 instances of healing after each turn. He also has Drain Punch. The only thing that can make him even remotely vulnerable is his ×4 weakness to flying. But we thought of that as well, and gave him a Stone Terra typing. And his mood isn't to boost his attack, but his defense. This meticulously crafted monster has rightfully been named Regenerator after the scariest monster in Resident Evil 4. This thing is unkillable as long as Cerebi keeps me privy to any flying type moves, which, let's be honest, might be a tight order. Anyway, I had to train him up, but when I did, the saddest freaking thing I've ever seen in my entire life happened. That's not orange. Get off of me! Get off of me! No, did it spawn? Get off of me! Get off of me! Torkoal! No! Torkoal!
Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back.
Easy come, easy go. Well, after that, we go down into the gully where they keep the Orthworm, and Regenerator gets to make his big debut. Now, it missed the first volley of Leech Seeds, which I thought might just be a quirk of not being able to hurt Titans like that, but I gave it one more shot, and they stuck. Just in time, too, because the Iron Tail really did a number to me. But, leftovers, Toxic Heal, Leech Seeds, I'm back up. Okay, to be honest, I think that attack might have been able to kill me, but it went for Wrap. I hit it with a Drain Punch, and then the battle was pretty much decided. And in the rematch, I didn't really bother wasting times with the seeds and sealed the easy victory. Well, currently I have 6 living Pokemon, so as I add the next shiny, I need to semi-retire someone. But who knows, maybe some fatalities could call them back to the front lines. And while Rhodes is the senior member, he still has an evolution, so I should probably go with Barney, who evolved after the Earthworm fight. But this is Kofu. I think I'm gonna let Barney ride one last time. After all, Decapod should not be in this battle. As for the Pokemon I added, we have a Rotom. This was the second Pokemon I caught, and I still didn't know how to easily tag down an entire population with just a click of the R button. I fought them all manually, and much like Fido, this Pokemon just loved paralysis. But on top of that, it was a ghost, so we had confusion as well. Such joy! This one also took longer after the genocide. It took 40 minutes for an orange one to show up, but when it did, we had to choose a name for it, and I went with McQueen. One thing you should probably know about me is that I do not like to name things after super popular characters, but I landed on this name 3 times. First off, what's a good name for lightning? McQueen. No. It's based off of a motor. Motors have pistons. Oh, the piston cup, like in cars, like McQueen. Finally, I looked up orange motors, and most of what was there was rusted motors and ads for rust remover, like Rusty's. McQueen's sponsor. Okay, fine, I'll name him McQueen, I don't care. As for the Calfscarada badge, I lost the footage for this part. The best part about getting Rotom is after we do Kofu's literal bidding, we can actually do an auction to get the catalog to change Rotom into a whole host of things. But we're gonna keep him electric for the Kofu fight, which I don't have footage for. But, I mean, look at my people, look at his. Do you trust me when I went through this without having any deaths? I didn't even have to have God save me from the Crabominable. Alright, next up is the Poison Star guy, Finch. And for this, we introduce Hatena. By far, the easiest catch in the game. However, it was after a 20-hour hunt, so I think I deserved it. I told Megan that I wanted to go for Hatena, and she said that she'd make me a psychic sandwich before she went to bed. She did that, and I hopped down to where the Hatena lived to plot a route for myself. And after 2 minutes, I saw a Hatena with white hair. Oh, hey, Andrea, you want to come with me? I'm gonna go fight the Elite Four. You can come if you like. Okay, so the main reason that I wanted a Hatterene is because I made an animation and it ended up taking me 10 hours for 9 seconds of footage. So if I got a Hatena and I named her Andrea, I can go ahead and show the animation here and get some mileage out of that clip.
Claim to make my big break, the Andrea Show. Change the brat. What's with the hat? I said you can go.
Alright, all we need to do is a little bit of training, and then we can get in there and take him to town. I looked over Finch's Pokemon, and I'm gonna be honest. I know that Andrea isn't a fairy yet, but I think I'd prefer to just put Regenerator in for the whole battle, shed that pesky grass typing, and just punch my way to victory. So, we do the Star Barrage, and the Regenerator gets pretty messed up, but they healed him up before the main battle, and they took my poisoning! Hey, I worked hard to intoxicate my Pokemon. Wait, is intoxicate right? Yeah, I don't matter.
Oh no, where am I ever gonna get poison at this late hour?
But Finch is what we call a hashtag cool bro.
There we go. Thank you, buddy. You're a real peach, a real gem.
Then he sends in Reveroom. See? Steel type. This is why I considered Regenerator in the first place.
Simply because... No! Didn't consider that. Oh my gosh, that was supposed to be my invincible Pokemon.
Yeah, the only way to kill Regenerator was to take all his HP away in one devastating strike, and that's what they did. After that, Rhodes went in to do the work the Regenerator couldn't, but this one sucks. When you put that much love and care into a Pokemon just to lose it, I mean, it was the perfect counter to Earthworm and Larry. Oh, shoot, that was my Larry plan! What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now? Pokemon X and Y sold 16.65 million copies. If you were one of the lucky people who played that game, screw you! I looked at a list of Pokemon I could catch for this challenge, and I thought, oh, Flying Press, that would be a cool move to use. What does Haluja's Shiny look like? How has has this game been out for over a decade, and no one has told me that the coolest shiny yet conceived was in it. All shiny discussions over the past 10 years should always have started with how freaking awesome Hawlucha's shiny is. Now, my only problem is the only Pokemon I can roll out has to be under Larry's level cap, which is 36. And the lowest level you can catch Hawlucha's is like high 40s. So although it pains me, I went back to hatching. 40 hours is definitely worth it for that awesome of a shiny. And it wasn't even that bad. I only had to hatch 405 eggs. By my calculations, that's somewhere between 8 and 10 hours. I also got a second one just 8 eggs after that. What the frick? The nickname is El Santa. Not that one. You see, in Coco, they have a bunch of dead famous Mexicans, and one that always stood out to me was the luchador with the silver mask. I went and researched this guy. He's been called one of the greatest legends in Mexican sports, and his name was the Saint, or in Spanish, El Santo. But both of the birds were female, so I just made sure that the Spanish female spelling of Saint was indeed Santa, and went with that. Alright, so we train him up, gotta love that lucky egg. Then we approach the gym and hate the test. Hey, Vidon. Okay, no need for the battles, they literally don't do a dang thing. We head straight for the eatery and... Sup, Vidon? Did you know? This game is freaking broken! Okay, grilled rice ball, medium serving. Turn to a pile of ashes and then throw a lemon on that sucker. Alright, bring out the Larry! Okay, so the first thing we do is switch out Gamin. That's for later. And then we take down the dumb koala. And I still don't know what dousing means. He may yawn at me, but I was switching out after the flying press anyway. Okay, now, McQueen is completely immune to Dudun's... Hold up. Is Fidon still over there? Look, it may not be in my best interest, but I'm gonna send in Fidon just to see if he's still by the door. Yes! There's 2, it's shiny, so that's actually... Wow. Alright, send McQueen back in, whittle down the 2 seg, that way we can leave McQueen in for Staraptor. Now, using status effects on this guy could be dangerous since it knows Facade. But for a ghost like myself, I'm fine paralyzing him. Then we get the Confuse in, and then just lightning him until I avenge Jolene and Dandy. But the vengeance isn't quite yet over. Nemona Battle 4. So, as stated, we open this battle with Rhodes for this sacred purpose. He should be able to take out the first 3 of Nemona's Pokemon with relative ease. Makes crushing Lycanthroc such a breeze. Goomy is scary because it also has Dragon-type moves, but I hit it first and I hit it strong. And then Earthquake also handles the Pawmow. But now I need to absolutely, unequivocally get the heck out of there. The second reason to use a Pokemon as awesome as Hawlucha is the Flying Press, the only dual-type move in the game. Flying and fighting. Flying for the grass, fighting for the dark. Alright, Nemona, die! Huh? Oh, this is bad! Oh, that was supposed to... How did you survive a quad-effective move? After a couple of seconds of dread and terror, I came up with the solution. This is Olyeller's final battle. Let's see if he can't earn those tiger stripes. Okay, send him in, as long as it doesn't do over... Come on, guaranteed crit, are you serious? I would have preferred Flamethrower, but all we have is extreme speed and... Woo! You done good, dog. You done good. Just look at that, learned from my previous runs. But, much like failures from previous runs can make me extra cautious, success in previous runs can spell disaster. Moving on to Rhyme, which in previous runs has been my easiest gym. A Ghost-type gym. Well, let's go and add in another one of the best shinies in the series. The last shiny I hunted. Megan and I went to the top of the Glaciado Mountain. We threw some filet and cucumbers on a slab of bread, and then tossed the second piece down the mountain and started hunting. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but after I caught Decapod, the ice sandwich called for a bunch of Klopstick, and I made him eat that sucker.
Dream of stars and the future. We will sing. I don't want to sing anymore. We will sing this happy walrus song. You're gonna walrus hell, cannibal.
No! Now, while the hunt for the Sneasel wasn't particularly crazy, you just go to the top of the mountain, run down the slope, and hope that a pink monster appears while you're going down there. But what was a little insane is when it finally did show up, not only did we find a beautiful pink Sneasel, we found 2. Oh, get in the ball, I want to go over there as well. As for the nickname, I didn't initially get around to it. When it evolves, she'll become a Weavile. She'll have this devilish little grin. I mean, maybe when she evolves, I'll nickname her Smirking Devil. But while I was training her up, I found a shiny Hoppip. And to steal a joke from my friend, I named him Tomato because he starts out small and green and then becomes plump and red. And I refuse to eat a salad unless there's like 50 of them inside of it. But the levels are up, MC Sledge is down, and all that's left is the fight. Start out with a fairy barrage. Dazzling Gleam, play rough, they're going down one after another. After nearly losing Andrea, I sent in El Santa, and here's the thing, she's got bounce, and the Houndstone has Phantom Rush. For these attacks, they both disappear for one turn, and then they strike. But I was in the perfect rotation where I dodge the attacks, but land mine. Take it down, take down the Mimikyu, and now it's just an easy 2v1 with 6 Pokemon on my team. Oh man, I'm probably scared. Let's put on boss music. Discharge. Oh, fight on. I am sorry. It's a rough situation. If I'm being honest though, after the battle, I would have had to retire McQueen, and I really didn't want to do that. All right, McQueen, you get to stick around. Thunderwave and Hex it. Hex? No, I don't want you to Hex. Oh. Okay, send in Sneasel and land some good old-fashioned Dark-type moves, and wow, that did nothing. Okay, well, we switched in Gabite. If I switch to El Santa, it'll be fine. It won't use Discharge because one of his foes will be ground, and I can use Earthquake without dirgling my ally. Go! Kinda wish I did more damage there. No. Oh! Why'd you use Discharge on a ground type? I just have Andre and I haven't even evolved Sneasel. I'm sorry I didn't give you a nickname, little girl. I'm even more sorry about what comes next. Here's the bite! Yes? Come on, flinch. It's gotten enough kills, come on! No! Why do you keep using Discharge on Sneasel? I'll outspeed and I'll save Andrea, but this sucked, man. Holy cow, that was a massacre! The only upside is we have enough Pokemon on the bench to bounce back to 6, but those were some of the prettiest and most aesthetically pleasing shinies. I didn't even get to nickname Sneasel. No. We're fixing that. Alright, next is the Ground Titan, and this is probably going to be my most controversial shiny. Okay, so I had roughly 900 Gibble, and rather than just, euthanizing them all, I decided to Wonder Trade them all. I even nicknamed them, Studio Gibble. But before I started, I decided that one of my shinies would be the first low-level shiny that I could nickname. I thought that maybe 24 shiny or Berry Chan would come through for me. And in some ways, this is more honest to a Nuzlocke because I am not hand-picking the guy. I hope that I've made a case that this is a legal shiny. I don't know about you, but to me, this feels fair. Took a little over 2 hours, but finally this guy showed up, and this is weird. Usually, I try and obscure the name of hacking sites, but it is extremely necessary to show this one to show you how weird it is. So there's a little rule for nicknaming Pokemon. You can't trample over a nickname. Even if the Pokemon doesn't technically have one, if its spelling isn't exactly the same as your native language, you can't do it. But somehow, this Sobble with this name had the change nickname button. I have other Pokemon from this exact same site that I cannot change. Other hacked shiny Sobbles, I can't change their names. But this one Sobble could have its name changed. And boy, do I have the perfect name for it. One of my favorite games of all time is called Divinity Dragon Commander. I got 2 words for you. Dragon with a jetpack. You have a kingdom and troops and generals, but one of your generals is...
I am Lord Edmund Augustus III, Duke of Hawknest Hall.
And I mean, look at this. They stole his character design. He's even got the red fin. Perfect name. Also, side note, if you saw my Wonderlock, you'll know that I named my character Scarlet, and I made her look like this. Only after I finished making that video did I realize that I subconsciously based her design off of this character, which makes sense. Her name is also Scarlet. Alright, I'm comfortable about using this guy, and much like every other time I faced him, if you just roll up and deliver your most powerful water move, easy game.
Simba, everything like... Oh, no!
Alright, on to the Alpharonda gym. And frick, is there another freaking Nimona battle? Screw it, you know what? I think I'm gonna be a little controversial here, okay? This is where I'm gonna bring in Carmen. I'll retire her after the battle, but you saw what happened to El Santa? How old Giller was just barely able to finish it off? No bird, no chance. I don't know, maybe I'll try and do it with the actual Pokemon that I'm introducing for Tulip, which is gonna be Scizor. Scyther is a rather hard hunt. 3 sandwiches from the Megan. The only thing that distinguishes it is it's got some red on its chest. I mean, it is slightly darker, but when a majority of the Scythers spawn around this tree, I gotta walk up to each one and stare at their chest to see if it's yellow like all the others, or the 1 in 1,000 red. But I finally found her. Now, I wasn't too excited to evolve Scyther because there is one color of shiny that I despise, and that's green. And that's exactly what shiny Scizor is. But Megan and I did the trade, and I did not banish her level 100 Poi to some lucky dude in Istanbul, so she fitted out the Scyther, and BAM! Okay, usually I hate green, but that shining steel texture completely negates any misgivings I may have had. For the nickname, we have another one of my animations. The name of the character playing Scyther is named Rena.
Oh, come on! I work up the nerve to say that, and you scream at me like I'm holding a chainsaw?
No, I'm sorry, you just surprised me. I was gonna ask you out, and you asked me out instead. I'm just thrown off here.
Yeah, well, that makes 2 of us, you dummy!
That was my face.
The battle goes exactly as last time. Gabite does most of the work, but I did try and let Barney finish off the Palmo, so hopefully I could use Thunder Wave on the Meowscarada. But with the HP I had, there is no way I could walk away with Barney still alive. Alright, Rena, can you do this, or are we gonna bend the rules and use Carmen? 20 damage? Okay, that is very reassuring. Okay, I don't have to use Carmen. Easy win. After that, I had to be a little careful because Barney did pass the level cap, and everyone else was also getting pretty close. I deposited a few of my people for emotion training, so I did take Carmen with me, after letting her sample some of Paldea's finest purple nectar. But when I did this, would you believe it? But this game glitched out on me. For the next while, my league points and money was just sitting up there. Through dialogue, battles, even the stupid ESP training, just sitting there. Also, I underestimated the battles. You need to KO 5 Pokemon, and in those battles, almost everyone I had shot past the gym cap. I'm only gonna be able to bring in 4 Pokemon to challenge Tulip. Okay, so we start the battle, and I was planning on being a wiener and just spamming Calm Mind and then sweeping, but Life Dew only gave me 25% health, and it was attacking me physically with a move that occasionally lowered my defense. I figured I'd have to go for the quick kill and then switch out. Esperada now? Frick, I really wanted to deal with Guardar. Okay, go Decapod! Ooh, big hit. Oh, even bigger hit! Okay, no. I send it in rows, but after Esperada is 2. Count them, 2 fairy types. Alright, let's see what you got, Rena. Alright, let's do this. Fortunately, my steel typing should deflect whatever you send at me, and I take a crit. Okay, 50 HP for my trump card. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we lose these, don't we? And by some divine miracle, instead of going for Psychic and just wiping me here, she chose Moonblast on a Steel type. I may never understand why she didn't just end my run there, but I will always be extremely grateful. And I still have my money in LP during the picture part. Look, you gotta play this game on Nuzlocke. I am so high on endorphins right now. Next up is Grusha, whose level cap is so high that Rhodes is finally being switched out. But the question is, for who? Is it whom? This was the 3rd shiny I got. On the 3rd day, I saw Glimlet and thought it would be fun to train. This was the last group where I individually stomped 60 Pokemon, because after the slog that was 5 hours of searching, I started asking Megan for help, and she told me to use the Let's Go feature. But yeah, 5 hours at 1 in 1,300 odds. This is where the self-gaslighting is real. It's such a shame that Game Freak hired talented artists to create a nice green Glimlet, but then they overworked and underpaid the programmer and he forgot to put it in the game. Oh my gosh, after hour 3, I'm sick of this upbeat music. It should be something like the song from Final Fantasy X. Yeah, see, that's a lot better. Man, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a game that actually played Final Fantasy X music?
Yes, dude, there is a video game that does Final Fantasy X music. It's called Final Fantasy X.
Holy cow, that's awesome! Oh, also, while individually taking these guys on, I noticed that they had a tendency to... So I actually went out and I caught a Stantler, got it to the level where it learns hypnosis, and then bred it with a Psyduck, just so I would have a damp Pokemon for the catch. The name is E1315. I'm actually not going to explain this one. I'll leave it as a test to see who the real ones are. The only hint I'm gonna give you is that Shiny Glimlet is a green stone. Now this fight should be easy for anyone with fighting types, but we don't have any fighting types. A lot of rock and fire, but that seems to be what Grusha is made to counter. The first 2 Pokemon go down quick enough, but the Crustacean gave me some real trouble. A lot of pivoting with Edmund's U-turn, ending up on Arcanine, who extreme speeded the dude. And then, for the first time in the game, both trainers trash sliced at the same time. But the extreme flames from Old Yeller made it a one-shot. All 8 gyms beaten. Now on to Ortega. And for him, we have a very special shiny to switch in. 20 hours. Megan and I spent nearly 20 hours because I wanted a very specific Pokemon. I felt a little guilty using so many outbreaks to get the easy shinies. I thought I'd go for a slightly tougher hunt to make up for it. Salazzle. Or, at the very least, a female Sandlet, which is a 1 in 8 chance. This was a nightmare! I caught 5 shiny male Sandlets, but finally, after hours and hours of searching, making countless sandwiches with Megan, I finally found her.
Come here, you salacious, sanctimonious Salazzle. I don't even know what any of those words mean.
Look, I know that this puts me at risk of being called a lizard simp, but man, she is just so pretty. Don't worry, Chet. You bought your skin suit at the same place as Obama. Nobody here thinks you're a lizard. A simp? Absolutely. Anybody can figure that out. But nobody here thinks that you're a lizard. I mean, come on. You don't even do that tongue thing. As for the nickname, I'm not really that smart or creative. I couldn't really think of one. Do you have any ideas? Alright, back to Ortega's place to kill a bunch of Chanseys. Alright, now let's go mess this kid up. First off, we have the worst barrage battle in the entire game. Like, seriously, Game Freak, how is this acceptable? Okay, it's Ortega time. I knew that this battle was going to be a rough start. Barney is retired and no one can learn a lightning move. I figured I would land one hit with Phi and hopefully leave a bunch of crap on the ground. I even bought a focus band to make sure it would survive. Fortunately, I made it, and let's see if Andrea can 1v1 this dude. Oh man, almost half. What if that's a range, or her special attack is higher? I don't know. I'm just gonna Terra Evolve because I need the attack boost. Woo! Survived with 4 and took it down. Oh, the dash button. Okay, I wasn't really expecting this, but it's better this way. I can send in Decapod for this and save the Sizer for the last few guys. Killed it, and now we send in Salazzle to avoid the Gyro Ball. Didn't even use it. Salazzle did famously. After that, we use Edmund to get a good pivot into Sizer, and honestly, I got lucky only hitting myself in confusion once, but I gotta pull back. Well, at risk of losing her. Let's see if the new member of the team can do this. Oh, wow, that didn't do nothing to her. Apparently, we didn't need Rena to save the day. We got Salazzle! Next is the False God Titan. For this, I need Freeze Dry, and I looked up all who learns Freeze Dry, and the only Pokemon from the list I can even stand is Cryo. Those letters together do not make human sounds. However, I'm not the biggest fan of Cryo. Like, it's a giant snowflake, but instead of being made of ice crystals, it's made of regular crystals. Actually, you know what? I just changed my mind. That's actually a very cool idea. This one took absurdly long. Okay, first I spent an hour resetting outbreaks just for them to show up. And then I KO'd 60 of them. And here's the thing. This is one of the easiest resets in the game. One short jump from the highest point in Paldea. Jump, and then all 17 are looking at you, and you're looking for those bright eyes. And if you got nothing, you just go back, jump, and then look. I spent maybe an hour doing this, getting 17 every 40 seconds. So finally, I asked Megan to get on and make 3 sandwiches. An hour with 1 in 1,300 odds. An hour and a half with 1 in 680 odds. With an extremely easy despawn point. I seriously started thinking that the same person who was in charge of putting glimlets into the game was also in charge of the cryo. Oh, my boy! You look like a jack-o'-lantern! And that started the basis of the name, Jack-o'-lantern. But Icy Jack could be Jack Frost, but I would hate if anybody thought I named it after the Guardians of the Galaxy Jack Frost. So I thought about the Atlas one, and apparently there's a group of them that are based off snow cones. So I named him after the best snow cone flavor, Tiger Blood. Now let's see if we can't go get some Tatsugiri blood. So I don't really have anything for water types. In fact, I have a lot of things weak to water, except for Tiger Blood. He takes a lot of damage from Aqua Tail, but he certainly has this under control. Oh shoot, I forgot to move him around. I don't want him to lose any HP before we fight Tatsugiri. So I send in Edmund and Rena to kind of chip at it. But do you know what happens when the whale's HP runs dry?
Oh, awesome. I thought I was gonna have to waste a switch. They went ahead and switched for me. As the great Alpha Rat said before his execution in 1963, we take those.
Another flawless victory! And then the stupid cutscene where Arvin revives his puppy, as soon as his dog that he loves and has spent years caring for and resuscitating, as soon as it shows the slightest sign of making a recovery, he's like,
"Yo, bro, do you want to have your dragon slam a cinder block against my dog's head?"
I don't know, maybe later, bro. Right now, I gotta go stop Eerie. And the shiny that I use for this one is going to be far different from the others. This time, instead of choosing and prepping the perfect shiny, I'm just gonna walk all around Paldea, keeping my eyes peeled, and the first sickly albino I see will be my final shiny for the Shiny Badge Challenge. It's not full odds. I traded those 900 Gibble and ended up with 275 different Pokemon. And then I just asked my good friend Megan if she could send over 125 Pokemon. Amazing! You completed the Pokedex. That means you encountered every single Pokemon there is to find in Paldea. Exploring the region on your own too is a real treasure of an experience. So Jacques gave me an item that I worked really, really hard for. By the way, I only had this for my last 3 hunts. Shroomish, Scyther, and Sneasel. Well, and of course, this next one. So I walked and prowled all over Paldea, over the rocks, valleys, and hills. Which Pokemon will Arceus himself see fit to bestow upon me? After an hour and 14 minutes, it appeared. Well, Knackley, your salt is looking rather golden today. How would you like to take on Eerie? It doesn't really matter what his answer is. He is a horrible Pokemon to take against the fighting type gym. This late in the game, I think it's time for a complete breakdown of the challenge. Like, as long as Knackley's in my party, we're good. Because I'm also going to introduce a Starly. I caught her during an outbreak, but I didn't have to introduce her against any of the gyms because they were just better Pokemon. So I'm taking along my blue-haired bird as well. Got Google to help me with both names. I love Staravia's Blue Streak, so I looked up Blue Streak, and apparently there's a comic book hero named Blue Streak. So that's the name I gave to the bird. As for the Knackley, I know it's based off of Salt Lake, and the thing is, if it were a girl, I'd have the perfect name for it, but as a guy, I gotta ask Dr. Google for help. I searched Salt Lake, and it made my Google go stupid. Like, I wanted a list, but it showed, like, Google images or articles. I don't know, it was weird and scary. I thought it was supposed to be a treat for deers, but I guess there's, like, a barbecue joint called Salt Lake, so I just named the guy Barbecue. Alright, Eerie. I have a pretty neat strategy involving Phi. It means I gotta lead with him in the barrage battle, but these are fighting types, and he's made of rocks. I kept trying to send him backwards, but I couldn't and send an actual good fighter forward. I mainly bring this up because I hate Star Barrage battles. Now for the battle. The plan is to send in Phi and have him get hit. He's holding the Focus Sash just in case, but now I got some free Toxic Spikes. Now I withdraw. Arcanine and Toxstroke, just as God intended. Then we both switch our guys out, and the thing is, Poison Vetoshock makes this very easy. Out comes Lucario, who refused to get poisoned, so I torch him about it. Then out comes the pissed guy, and I send in Andrea. I still don't know how Psychic, Fairy, and Ghost interact with one another, but Andrea did shudder. We hurt one another, but Andrea did have to hobble away into a Pokemon I've been debating if I should make legal or not. Carmen. And I guess I know how I feel about this debate now. But I did a big brain play. She has that move, Revelation Dance. That's how you can get off an awesome fire or ghost move. But with Terastallization, it's just a crazy, powerful flying move. Perfect for a stupid fighting car type. I did it. I beat the Shiny Badge Challenge lock. But I haven't beaten the game yet. I've done 2 challenges with this game, but I haven't had the credits run. We're going all the way to the end of Area 0, meaning I need to defeat the Elite Four, Arven, Penny, and Nimona. Yeah, I'm unlocking every single Pokemon in the reserves. Blue Streak, Corviknight, El Santa II, Hell's Fury, and Smirking Devil. And don't forget Tomato. Training them up meant slaughtering Chanseys by the dozen. Even managed to add one to the party. Dancing Queen. Alright, we need to take these battles in a very specific order if I don't want to overlevel. So we start with the Calavel battle. Calavel battle. I decided to use a similar idea to the last few battles. I am gonna mess up the field. Toxic Spikes, more of them! Even get a layer of Stealth Rocks out there, and then just hop away. I needed tons of switches in this battle because it just kept yawning. On the plus side, no damage. On the bad side, took forever. Eventually, he attacked Edmund instead of yawning, so I did some big damage, then you turned on out of there. It's a little annoying, yes, but that means I can effectively force out whichever Pokemon I want next. I think we'll do Obama Snow so I can get an easy kill with my ×4 damage from Arcanine. Granted, I missed, so recoil damage was what actually claimed it. Houndoom? Nothing personal, kid. Oh, he's still got HP. Oh no. Oh no, Edmund! The next fight was kind of hilarious because I sent in Smirking Devil against Poltergeist and used Beat Up. It's a dark type move that hits once for each Pokemon in your party, but the thing is, Poltergeist has this little ability where every hit lowers its defense while sharply raising its speed, so each successive hit just got ridiculously more powerful. Now, Among Us doesn't get poisoned by the spikes, but my lizard has corrosive. That right there, that is the only reason I spent 20 hours wandering a cave, just so I could poison something that I had no right poisoning. Cool, I'm gonna bounce and let you fight Tomato. It is built like a tank, has leech seeds so it can use its foe's energy to stay alive forever. It outlasted the shroom and then it seeded the duck. It uses ice spinners, but no! Whatever. It's got the seeds combined with the... Why isn't he Toxided? I get the ice spinner would have destroyed those, but... whatever. Should be fine with the leech seeds. Send in Phi. He's got that spiky shield, and we should be able to outlast him. Okay, it failed, but thanks to the leech seeds, I should... Why wasn't he poisoned? Wow. 3 deaths. These final fights are gonna be rough. Especially the Elite Four, especially Rika. Oh my gosh, I have so many Pokemon and no answers to ground types. Especially ground types with rock moves. Like, the closest thing I have is Andrea. I can teach her Giga Drain, but how far will that really take me? Well, if I abuse Calm Mind, and Agility, and Protect, and Leftovers, far enough. Far enough indeed. Look, I'm really proud of the quality of my last 2 videos on Pokemon games, but near the end of both of them, I spammed the ever-loving heck out of stat boosters, and I don't want my video to consist of that anymore, okay? For the sake of a more interesting video, no more of that. Like, maybe a move or 2, but certainly no more sweeps. And with that said, Garchomp will now sweep Poppy, but no stat boosts. Also, I have El Santa II start the battle. Honestly, I might have done more switches if the Copperjaw didn't leave pointy rocks all over the field. Seriously, that's annoying. But I did choose Garchomp as my starter over a month ago for this fight and this fight alone. I need something that outspeeds that thing, and heaven willing, kills it as well. Good riddance. Now, I planned very carefully for Rika and Poppy, but not much further past that point, and it's about to become painfully clear. Yeah, Larry! Now, we don't have to worry about the Tropios. It's got times 4 vulnerability to a flying attack. We send in Barney for the Star Raptor and clip its wings. Now we got Altaria, and after a Ruby Nuzlocke, we know to go hard against this thing. And you know, we should be able to Oko the Oricorio as well. Awesome! Flamigo. Okay, you know what? Weavile speed is awesome. I can probably kill it in 1 hit. I couldn't. Grin on in heaven, smirking devil. Alright, Lance, or Drake, or Trance, I don't know, Elite 4 Dragon Person! First one is always easy. You don't have to sacrifice Tempo to choose the perfect Pokemon. Did have to sacrifice it for a good freeze dry, but that's one more down. Now, for Hell's Fury to be unleashed, and a
quick question. Why did I make this noise?
Oh, wow. I hope mine kills. Uh-oh. 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 I'm sorry, Hell's Fury. I thought that was gonna go better. That was an unfortunate loss, but I have my own pseudo-dragonary for it. You got the speed, right, Rhodes? You gotta promise me you got the speed. You don't have... Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. I forgot to re-equip a Dragon-type move. I mean, no problem for a nearly dead Haxorus, but man, amateur hour! I mean, I brought in Dancing Queen for a free tempo reset, had Andrea kill the Flapple, and then damage Braxcalibur. Unfortunately, she didn't dodge the Icicle Crash, so I had to choose which Pokemon to live without. Not my favorite game to play, but ultimately, if I need a rock, I've got Tamatoa's mascot. Sorry, Barbecue, but it looks like you're cooked. Then Rhodes finishes it, but how did I forget a Dragon-type move? Who does that? Okay, I have lost 4 Pokemon, but the good news about the champion is that she has 6 different Pokemon. I can easily choose a counter pick for each one. The only thing that could possibly go wrong is that if I sent in a Pokemon that boosted its stats, and it did this knowing full well that that ostrich had Opportunist. Twice. Murdered my bird, scratch that, murdered both of my birds, and then I lost my 3rd one to the Daimyo. Rena can use a fighting move, and I wouldn't have had to lose El Santa II if I just used a real fighting move instead of Flying Press. Geeter's response to Scissor was Avalugg, and while it does hurt me, I don't feel like it was the best pick. But now I am left in the horrific situation of needing to let everyone die. Rena didn't outspeed the next Pokemon. And while Tiger Blood did take down the next 2 Pokemon, I felt like I had to give his life so Garachomp could have a clean entrance. No doubt Tiger Blood saved this run, but dang, I don't care how much fanfare you get after defeating the Elite Four. Knowing that once I gain control of my character, I need to deposit 5 Pokemon just leaves me feeling sick. I am left with 7 Pokemon. I had 18 for each of the badges, plus an additional 9 Pokemon, and dang it, I whittled it down to this. At this point, I checked my map. There's probably not much, but if there's anything decent, I'll try it, and Dondozo? I love it shiny. Okay, so we took 40 minutes, and I saw my big yellow whale, but alright, it's time for those final battles. So, while Penny and Arven both have level 63s as their final Pokemon, Penny has 5 level 62s, while Arven starts at level 58 and then just ramps it up from there. I think Barney will be able to do some awesome work if I give him Focus Blast, when he actually manages to land a hit. The biggest problem with Arven is that his Pokemon actually have great move pools to cover their weaknesses, but pre-planning can help. Send in Richard to Durgle the Garnackle, and then we see if we can tank the Power Whip, which is good because this is the only member of my team who's packing ice moves. Then we can switch out for Skull Villain. I would have liked to have sent my bird out, but somebody left Stealth Rocks out all over the stage. I mean, an electric bird, Stealth Rock, that would have done like 200% of its health, so Arcanine comes out instead. I got lucky enough to absorb a fire move, so I decided that even though it's got slight resistance to fire, it's also weak to it, and they just boosted me. Big damage and extreme speed. Now Cloyster comes out and lets Andrea do Calm Mind a couple of times. Andrea's in a bit of a pinch. It looks like it might cry. What? What's with the guilt trip? Fine, Andrea, kill the clam and get out of there. I wouldn't want you to break down on me. Alright, so now the puppy that worried you for over a year, that had you go on a grand quest to save it. And the first thing that Arven says to me is, yo, how about you have your dragon bring down devastating seismic activity on it? Do you think I care? I really don't, Arven. Now on to Penny. Higher levels, but she has a much worse move pool. Each Mon wastes 2 slots on Baby Doll Eyes and Quick Attack, and sometimes she wants to do that instead of taking the kill shot. By all means, Penny, you go, girl. I take down the Umbreon with Focus Blast, and then she goes to Flareon. Yeah, the other problem with the evolutions is they have the moves that you'd expect. If I send in Cloth, the only thing that she has the tools to fight are things that are weak to fire. You can't expect a Flareon to beat a Decapod. Vaporeon, send back in Barney. Oh, Hydro Pump. Okay, this kind of annoys me because I would never use Hydro Pump because 85% accuracy misses. It didn't miss. Oh, I mean, it missed twice on Dondozo, but when it mattered the most, it cost me a legacy recruit. Wow. All the way back to the 4th badge. After that is Jolteon. Whoa, I don't know if I have any answers for Jolteon. I guess I could try this guy. And Carmen was recruited to deal with grass types?
That's a grass type.
Salazzle comes in and does Toxic. She does take a fair amount of damage from Sylveon, but she escapes. And then Dondozo just comes in and kills her with a waterfall. He has been a wonderful addition to the team. Alright, one more trainer. And I think I have a Pokemon ability because I am absolutely shuddering. So I fly down to challenge Nimona, and she starts off with that wolf while I start off with my starter. Won't be much help against her cat, but the Earthquake shakes the wolf right out. Next, she sends in Goodra, and while the Ice Beam would be devastating to Rhodes, it merely glances off Richard, whose high HP pool and low speed make Avalanche an amazing move. Huh, it didn't kill. Oh well! Order up! Now Palmo. I send in Andrea to meet a double shock. Oh, what the heck? Is that like double wing beat? No, it just hit once. Let's look this up real quick. What the frick? So if a Terrorized Palmo used this move, it would become typeless. Yeah, it literally used all of its electricity. Well, Psychic can still absolutely Durgle a fighting type. Now Earthworm comes in, and I do some trickery. I switch to Carmen, just so I can get a clean switch to Rhodes. That didn't happen though, it used Iron Tail both times. But then I bit him with fire, and then the last bit of his HP was taken away by Rocky Skin and Rough Helmet. Then to Dunsparce, which I have close combat on Arcanine for, but oh no, he didn't die. And he drilled a clean hole through old Yeller's skull. But extreme speed solves that problem, lickety-split. Alright, Meowscarada. We send in Carmen. Oh, she used Shadow Claw, but barely anything. Alright, check this out. I Terastallize and hit it with a... Arven! Ooh! Worst of all, I only have like one Pokemon that outspeeds him, and I definitely don't want him taking a critical hit, super effective move to the dome. It's guesswork, but I think if I let Rhodes or Old Yeller die, the other one can pick up the slack. I just can't let my starter die.
No, Mama. He was my dog. I'll do it.
With Meowscarada's new HP bar, I sent in Garchomp, hoping and praying that I outsped it, but I didn't. But Play Rough didn't kill me, so I chopped its stupid head off! Okay, so I am down to 5 Pokemon and heading into Area 0. I don't get Area 0. So you go down into Maiden Abyss with Mommy Issues, Cybercriminal, and Yandere Simulator over here. They have like 4 mandatory fights with one Pokemon that's a lower level than Nimona's weakest Pokemon. And they're all double battles, and you're the one with the 2 Pokemon. I mean, there's one point where there are 3 back-to-back battles, but they heal you between all 3, so I don't get these, man. Who really cares about Area 0? It is weird down here, man. You got Jigglypuff floating around like he did in his Ocarina of Time appearance. Oh, also, I did find a shiny down here. Hold on, is that shiny? Forgive me if I mistake it. You know, I've seen over 40 straight days of YouTube shorts, and I just kind of assumed that was the natural color of a Dunsparce, but this does give me an idea. Finding and evolving a shiny Dunsparce today because I found one. Oh, we're going to the evolution realm for this one. Ah, dang it. I know there was only a 1% chance, but can you imagine how funny that would be? Okay, clear away the obstacles, and now plan for the final fight. So I put a phenomenal amount of time into planning this fight, and I believe that I can make it if when the time comes, I'm willing to make one sacrifice. The first Pokemon I learned a fighting type move because Sada's starter is ×4 weak to it. I'm kind of surprised it didn't kill, but I'm really upset because the second move missed, but then she held on so I wouldn't feel sad. What? Really, Catherine? I've only had you for a little over an hour and you're maxed out on friendship. Well, you know what? Since I got robbed of my second hit, I'll take it. Now, Screamtail comes screaming in, so I send in Richard. He's had a great steel move this whole time, and honestly, with his tankiness and protect, I decided to check how effective Avalanche is. Okay, not too much, but you know what is effective? A giant wall made of steel. Squeeze. Fluttermane is next, and with a skillful switch to negate the Thunderbolt, all I need to do is tank the Shadow Ball and respond with a devastating Shadow Claw. Next up might have been a little bit of a misplay. I switched in Cloth because he was my only Pokemon with a Bug-type move, but the problem is I switched him into a Giga Drain. I still let the attack fly because it was ×4 effective, which wasn't enough. Sorry, bud, looks like you're going to Cloth Hell a little earlier than expected. Then I sent in Rose, just to take down this. And so I can also Earthquake the Sandy Magneton, can't remember its name. And now for my plan that makes it so I don't wipe. Megan told me to overlevel for this battle, but I knew that I could develop a plan. With one mandatory casualty, I can save everyone else. So out comes the big ol' Salamence. And honestly, I read the item's description. I thought it was going to maximize its attack. So my plan was built around that. One sacrifice. All right, Catherine, shine bright for us. This allows for the clean switch into Salazzle, but she's outsped by Dark Moon. But she has a Focus Sash, as well as Toxic.
I win.
Every Pokemon has Protect. Shield the Blow. Switch into the big buff fishy. He uses Protect. And then I have his Dragon Claw turn into nothing against Andrea's Fairy Body. And with that, I declare the shiny Badgelocke complete. Oh yeah, of course there is the credit song.
I can't apologise, it was bloody Ed Sheeran.
Arven, Nimona, and Penny.